Hey guys, so for this video I'm going to show you how to make a slab without a slab roller. We're going to use 2/4-inch wooden dowels, a block of clay, a wire tool, and an absorbent surface. So the first thing that we're going to do is take our wire tool and just cut an inch or so off a block of clay. To use the wire tool, you just want to hold the wire between your thumb and first finger and sort of wrap it like that. So you want to hold the base of the wire in the palms of your hand and the wire tool stretched between your thumbs and first fingers like that. We're just going to take a nice slice off the top. And our goal is to turn this inch slice into a nice long slab. Okay, the first thing we need to do is determine the width of our slab. We're going to use a rolling pin on these slats to determine the length of the slab, but to determine its width, we need to kind of set that first before we begin with the rolling pin. So there's a couple ways you can go about that. You can stretch the slab on the table, and that looks like this. You'll take your slab and hold it at the front third or so, pull it towards yourself and drop. Okay, so let me do that a little bit more slowly. Holding here, forward, pull forward, and you kind of let go as the slab is moving, and it will catch on the table and stretch. And you can see it's longer than it was. So that's one way to lengthen or to widen your slab. Another way is to use a mallet. If you happen to have one, they're really useful. And to use this, you would just pound your way across. Okay, so now we're a little bit wider. I'm going to make a slab that's about as wide as this piece of paper. So you can see we're just about there, but we need to go a little bit wider. So I'm going to use the tossing method one more time. I like to flip it over, toss again. It's gentle, repeated sort of process. Let's see, now we are just about there. Maybe just one more time. I like to get the slab just a little bit wider than I need it. Good. See, we're just a little bit hanging over now. That should be just fine. Now we're going to take our dowels. These dowels are just 1/4-inch wooden dowels. I'm using 1/4-inch dowels because 1/4-inch is a fairly reasonable hand building clay thickness or a slab thickness, and you can get them at any hardware store. It doesn't have to be 1/4-inch. You can move up to 5/16 or 3/8. There's lots of options there. Now I'm going to take my rolling pin, which is kind of a necessity. You can toss a slab out by hand, entirely by hand, without using a rolling pin, but it works better if you can use a rolling pin, and not a French rolling pin. You need a square rolling pin, not one with a curve, right? The French ones have a taper on the edges that will not give you a nice flat slab. They're great for baking, but not for this. So we're just going to take the rolling pin and see how we can let it ride on the dowels. And what that does is it gives us a set depth. The distance between the rolling pin and the table is 1/4 inch because the height of the dowel is 1/4 inch. So I'm just going to start on the top of my slab, actually about in the center, and just push forward and down, and then back, and then forward. You can see I'm just riding on the edges of my dowel, and they're not really moving around too much because the force I'm exerting on them is forward and back. It's not side to side, so they're sort of staying put. I'm just going to flip my slab over a little bit here. Now the width of your rolling pin determines how wide a slab you can make, so that's an important consideration. There we go. So you have to be just a little bit forceful with this, but you can see it works. I do like to continually flip the slab. I think that really helps. I'm not exactly sure why it helps, but it does. See how you kind of, like you can see this part here, right up until it starts to kind of work its way thicker here. you can kind of keep it flat and push against that edge and just force that edge forward until the slab is of even thickness. And that's it. So we have a nice 1/4 inch thick slab. You can do lots of things with that. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed my video on how to make a slab without a slab roller. See you in the next one.